Please join us Saturdays for the two most important hours on radio, Arizona's most popular finance show, Smart Proactive Investing.
That's Saturdays from 11 to 1 on Newstalk 550, KFYI in Phoenix.
Or catch our shows online anytime at DeGreen.com.
DeGreen Capital Management is an independent fiduciary fee-only investment advisor registered with the Securities and Exchange Commission. Our practice is limited to serving families with minimum portfolios of at least $750,000. We are located at the beautiful Portales Center, Scottsdale and Chaparral Roads in Scottsdale, Arizona, and we serve clients nationwide. This presentation is not complete without the disclosures at the end of this video. And now, the 3 keys to smart, proactive investing.
Imagine it's 10 years from today. Now, we hope, above all, the future finds you happy and healthy. You'll be 10 years older, 10 years wiser. But will you be more or less financially secure? I'm attorney and certified financial planner Keith DeGreen, founder and CEO of DeGreen Capital Management, DCM for short. Now, here are, in our opinion, the 3 most important questions you can ask as an investor. Am I investing in a manner that is efficient, precise, and diversified, consistent with my objectives and my risk tolerance? Am I participating in asset class and market rallies around the world when they occur? And who will defend my portfolio when things get dicey? Now, at DeGreen, we invest based on your needs, your priorities. We use low-cost, U.S.-traded, exchange-traded funds, ETFs, to access all the world's most promising markets. And we will seek to defend your portfolio when things get dicey. Our core mission is to help you define and achieve financial security with as little risk as possible along the way.
I'm Investment Advisor Representative Sam DeGreen. As your independent fiduciary fee-only advisor, we have no agenda other than your success. Your best interests always come first at DeGreen. Our separately managed client accounts are maintained at industry leader Charles Schwab.
Now, here at DeGreen, we've pioneered low-cost, worldwide, exchange-traded fund, or ETF investing. Now, as you'll see, our unique approach is efficient, precise, and diversified. The 3 keys to smart, proactive investing.
Within strictly defined risk parameters, we actively manage passive investments within your separately managed accounts to efficiently access all the world's most promising markets.
Now, we may go to cash or take other defensive measures when markets get dicey, and I invest in the same program as our clients.
We are ready, regardless of monetary policy, regardless of which markets under or overperform, and regardless of geopolitical risks. We are ready. Are you?
Are you ready? We invite you to call us at 480-609-9900 to request your personal investor best interest interview. That's 480-609-9900. We look forward to meeting you.
In the years ahead, there will be 3 keys to smart, proactive investing: efficiency, precision, and diversification. Now, let's take a quick look at each. The first key, efficiency, requires 2 elements. First, that we reduce your portfolio costs by avoiding all unnecessary expenses. And second, that we, as your advisor, provide tremendous added value. Now, as you'll see, exchange-traded funds, or ETFs, are by far the most cost-efficient investment vehicles available. Meanwhile, here at Fiduciary Fee-Only DeGreen Capital Management, we constantly work to add unprecedented value year after year after year. Yes, reducing costs and adding value creates unsurpassed efficiency, the first key to successful investing in the years ahead. Precision is the second key to smart, proactive investing. Now, precision is all about matching your needs to your investment portfolio. As your advisor, we diligently work with you to precisely match your needs with the most appropriate risk-adjusted portfolios. And as your needs change over time, we will adjust your portfolio to match those changing needs. Now, along the way, we never assume more risk than is absolutely necessary to accomplish your precise goals. And there are simply no hidden agendas here at DeGreen. We stay in touch and remain sensitive to your changing needs. We communicate constantly, and we are always accessible. And our research and analytics are unsurpassed, in my opinion. At DeGreen, we maintain the highest fiduciary standards. I invest in the same program as our clients, and we may go to cash or take other defensive measures when things get dicey. That's precision. Finally, the third key to smart proactive investing over the next decade will be portfolio diversification. Now, our investment committee at DeGreen maintains 15 carefully risk-adjusted ETF portfolios, all with long-term performance and volatility track records. We will find the low-cost ETF portfolios that meet your precise needs in the most diversified, lowest risk manner possible. Now, basically, an ETF is a very low-cost investment product that owns all the components of an index. An index is just a list of stocks, or a list of fixed income vehicles such as bonds, or a list of alternative investments, or a list of cash instruments. Now, an ETF is typically designed to faithfully track the aggregate price performance of the components of an index. That is, an ETF tracks the aggregate value of all the securities on the list that is the index throughout each trading day. Therefore, by owning a single ETF, you may own dozens, hundreds, or even thousands of individual positions. Now that's diversification. As diversified ETF investors, we deliberately do not compete with any one stock or bond, index, or market. In fact, just the opposite. We efficiently diversify and rotate among all the world's most promising markets across the four major asset classes: equities, fixed income, alternatives, and cash. You know, study after study indicate that this is the surest way to minimize risk while maximizing your investment opportunities with diversification. Yes, smart proactive investing, efficiency, precision, and diversification, the three keys to your investing success.
Please permit us to apply the 3 keys to smart proactive investing on your behalf at fee-only DeGreen Capital Management in Scottsdale. Call today to request your personal investor best interest interview. 480-609-9900. That's 480-609-9900. We look forward to meeting you and to investing with you.
Now, before we take a closer look at each of the 3 keys to smart proactive investing, I'd like to give you a peek at the secret sauce here at DeGreen, and I'd like you to meet a very special colleague of ours. At DeGreen, we've pioneered the management of personalized, low-cost, diversified, risk-adjusted, exchange-traded fund, or ETF portfolios. We and our colleagues at Efficient Market Advisors, or EMA for short, our investment committee, are widely regarded as experts in this field. We're proud to have helped the ETF revolution. So let's examine not only the many reasons ETFs have become America's most popular investment vehicle, but also how we have led the march toward low-cost, diversified ETF investing. And incidentally, while proper portfolio selection is by far your best risk control mechanism, at DeGreen, we will go to cash or take other defensive actions when things get dicey. Let me say that again. We will go to cash or take other defensive action when things get dicey. More on our unique defensive protocols a little later, but first, I'd like you to meet another pioneer in the ETF field, my good friend Herb Morgan. Herb is founder, CEO, and Chief Investment Officer of Efficient Market Advisors, or EMA for short. EMA works for DeGreen Capital Management as its investment back office, while DeGreen works directly for you. EMA's low-cost, efficient ETF investment discipline is, in my opinion, the essence of efficiency. Our DCM portfolios are based on the great work of our investment committee at EMA, but may not always conform precisely to their allocations. DCM portfolio performance may therefore vary from EMA's performance and may also vary due to our exclusive DCM defensive measures protocols and other factors. Now, Herb Morgan and I came up in the ETF industry at about the same time. Herb has worked in senior positions at Linsco Private Ledger, Dreyfus and Ing, and held various positions with J&W Seligman and Company before opening EMA in 2004. Herb has been interviewed by many media outlets, including Forbes, CBS MarketWatch, Businessweek, Investment News, Investment Business Daily, and the Wall Street Journal. He's also been a guest on Fox News and CNBC television. He's even served as an expert witness in cases involving mutual fund trustee fiduciary liability. Herb's a community-minded guy and helped reform the San Diego City Employees Retirement System. He also served with me on a school choice board in Arizona dedicated to providing disadvantaged kids with great educational opportunities. Herb and his wife Mary have 2 children and now live in San Diego, where EMA's offices are located. Herb graduated with honors, of course, from the University of California, Santa Cruz with a Bachelor of Arts in Economics. Herb, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you, Keith, for this opportunity.
I yield the floor to you, sir.
Efficient Market Advisors, or EMA for short, is a proud member of the DeGreen team. Founded in 2004, EMA constructs proprietary investment strategies using lower cost, tax-efficient, liquid, and transparent exchange-traded funds, or ETFs. Thanks to in-house and third-party research, EMA's proprietary ETF strategies offer investors diversified worldwide asset class exposure. EMA operates as a business of Cantor Fitzgerald Investment Advisors, LP, a registered investment advisor with the Securities and Exchange Commission, or SEC. We were honored when Keith invited our firm to serve as DCM's investment back office. We respect Keith's more than 30 years of industry experience and the tremendous experience and dedication of his entire team. DeGreen Capital Management is one of EMA's largest institutional clients. Working closely with Keith, his son, investment advisor Sam DeGreen, and with their entire team, we maintain 15 lower-cost, risk-adjusted ETF portfolios and 1 all-equities portfolio for DCM's clients. Our original 15 portfolios all have at least a 10-year performance history, and our firm is compliant with the Global Investment Performance Standards, also known as GIPS. GIPS is a voluntary standard created by the CFA Institute and is well respected in the industry. At EMA, our investment committee carefully rotates among the world's most promising markets, based on valuation, economic data, and on monetary, regulatory, and political policy throughout the world. Because each ETF seeks to track the price performance of all the components within an entire index, it is not uncommon for our clients to hold more than 7,000 underlying positions worldwide through the 10 to 16 ETFs they may own in their portfolios at any given time. This geographic and asset class diversification can significantly reduce your risk. Incidentally, there is no separate charge for EMA's expertise. That is covered in the one fee you pay to your fiduciary advisor, DeGreen Capital Management. This is an important point. I agree entirely with Keith when he says that cost efficiency will be especially important in the years ahead. Many advisors charge their own management fee and tack on the cost of third-party managers like EMA, with whom, incidentally, they rarely have any say. At DeGreen, there is no additional fee, and we work very closely with Keith, Sam, and the entire DeGreen team. Also, and this is huge, as you may know, DeGreen Capital Management does something that few other advisors will do. They maintain a written defensive measures protocol. They may intervene and take their clients partially or completely to cash, or will take other defensive measures when they deem it appropriate, based on their extensive independent market analysis. Keith is the first to acknowledge that proper portfolio selection is by far your best risk control mechanism. But knowing that your advisor has your back when things get dicey can mean the world to investors who are at or near retirement and who simply cannot afford to wait many years to recover deep market losses. Now, it's been my pleasure to know and/or work with Keith DeGreen for nearly 20 years. And in case you don't know, he's a remarkable guy. Like many of you, I first learned of Keith through his popular radio show on News Talk 550 KFYI, a program he has hosted for more than 30 years. In 2006, Keith sold his successful investment advisory firm with $640 million under management. He thought he was going to retire. But fortunately for us all, Keith flunked retirement and in early 2010 founded independent, fiduciary, fee-only DeGreen Capital Management. Keith graduated with a degree in political science from Miami University in Ohio, and he earned his law degree from the University of Cincinnati College of Law. However, his education was not seamless. He left college to volunteer for the United States Marine Corps, where he served as a sergeant in Vietnam and earned the Purple Heart. He has sailed a boat across the Pacific, he's traveled the world to study the world's most promising markets, and he wrote a book on the subject of emerging markets. Keith is also an outspoken, thoughtful conservative. He was Arizona's Republican candidate for U.S. Senate as a young man. He was candidate for governor until he withdrew due to a family illness, and he has been active in politics and community affairs for decades. Also, Keith's son, investment advisor Sam DeGreen, is a competent financial advisor in his own right. Sam is a registered investment advisor representative with the Securities and Exchange Commission. He is a senior advisor at DeGreen Capital Management and often works closely with clients to develop detailed financial plans that serve as invaluable financial roadmaps. Sam also co-hosts their popular radio show with Keith on News Talk 550 KFYI in Phoenix. Keith and Sam are supported by an outstanding administrative team at DeGreen. Don Eby and Deborah Wilson have more than 65 years of combined industry experience, and it is our pleasure to work very closely with them every day. I encourage you to visit DeGreen.com to learn more about Keith, Sam, and the entire DeGreen team. We at Efficient Market Advisors are proud members of the DeGreen team, and we look forward to contributing to your investment success in the years ahead.
Put the entire DeGreen team to work for you. Please call today to request your personal investor best interest interview. 480-609-9900. That's 480-609-9900. We look forward to working with you and to investing with you.
So why do hundreds of affluent investors trust DeGreen Capital Management to precisely and efficiently accomplish their goals? Well, let's start with the basics as we focus on the first key to smart, proactive investing: efficiency. Exchange-traded funds, or ETFs, literally cost a tiny fraction of what traditional mutual funds or 401k subaccounts cost. Typically, the internal costs, known as expense ratios, of the ETFs employed by DeGreen Capital Management run about 1/10 the cost of those other funds. 1/10. And the cost differential between ETFs and annuities is simply off the charts. We do not and we will never sell annuities. In an investing era where every penny counts, we use very low-cost ETFs to avoid performance-killing expenses. Year after year, these insidious fees add up to a very serious amount of money. Money that belongs in your pocket, not in someone else's. Suppose, for example, that you save just 1% per year on internal costs here at DeGreen. On a $1 million portfolio, that 1% equals a savings of $10,000 per year. But it gets even better. Recognizing that performance is never guaranteed, if we assume that $10,000 in annual savings earns a relatively modest return of, say, 6% per year in 10 years, you will have accumulated an extra $131,808. Again, this is money in your pocket, not in someone else's. What's more, as we'll illustrate later, ETFs consistently outperform those other investment vehicles used by most advisors. So quite literally, ETFs not only cost much less, but also consistently outperform traditional mutual funds and 401k subaccounts.
So why don't all advisors use low-cost ETFs? Because they don't pay commissions, trails, or other backdoor compensation. And that brings us to why efficiency also involves obtaining real value from your investment advisor year after year after year. Now, as your fee-only advisor, we earn our money gradually over time. The better you do, the better we do. We're in this together as fellow investors, and you will always be able to rely on us for objective, well-researched, individualized advice. Now, this promise applies in good times or bad because, let's be honest, markets can get pretty dicey sometimes and changes can occur quickly in our lives. Sometimes change is positive At other times, change can be heartbreaking. Regardless, we are here for you, always, no matter what. We will communicate with frequent emails. These aren't just puff pieces from someone else's home office, but are among the best, most candid and well-researched analyses you'll read anywhere. And they are specific to our investment program, to your portfolio, and to your life. What's more, we genuinely welcome your calls and questions, and we encourage you to regularly visit with us in person or by phone. Now, your personalized DCM portfolio will be designed to operate within a certain range of volatility. When volatility exceeds that range, then we may intervene defensively on your behalf. However, proper portfolio selection is by far your best risk control mechanism, and that's why we seek an ongoing dialogue with you. We may want to change your investment allocations as your needs change. However, here's a really important tip. Changes to your investment allocation should never be based on market headlines. You're paying us to worry about those. Changes should only be based on changes in your personal circumstances. As diversified, index-tracking, worldwide ETF investors, we are never trying to outperform one index or another, just the opposite. We seek to allocate across the 4 major investment asset classes worldwide: equities, fixed income, alternatives, and cash, all in a manner that's consistent with your appropriate level of risk, with your objectives, and with your life.
Also, at DeGreen, we are very upfront about how we charge our management fee. In accordance with our published fee schedule, our management fee is a small percentage of your assets under management. Our fee percentage declines as the value of your investment portfolio with us increases as you hit certain breakpoints. And our fee reductions apply back to the first dollar under management, not just the excess over a certain amount. We have no incentive to place you in one portfolio or investment over another. Our fee is the same regardless, but we do have an incentive to see you do well. After all, the more your portfolio grows, the more we are paid overall. So the burden is on us to earn our fee year after year. Now, let's define some terms that are important to you. First, at independent fiduciary fee-only DeGreen Capital Management, we serve affluent investors with portfolios of at least $750,000. We keep or custody our clients' assets at industry leader Charles Schwab within each client's own separately managed accounts. Now, what do all these terms mean? Custody at Schwab means that your own separately managed accounts are kept at Charles Schwab under our independent stewardship. We do not work for Schwab. We work for you. The term separately managed accounts means that your money is never commingled with others. We serve as the investment advisor on your individual accounts. You may fire us at will, although we don't recommend that. By independent, we mean just that. We are not under the control of other financial institutions. We receive no incentive for selling someone else's products, and we are free to act entirely in your best interest alone. By fiduciary, we mean that we voluntarily hold ourselves to the highest industry standard, where by law, your best interest must always come first. Period. No exceptions, no excuses. There's a disturbing trend in our industry where some advisors call themselves fiduciaries because they abide by the best interest standard some of the time, but at other times, they hold themselves to a lower standard, like when they sell you commission-paying investments. For these advisors, being a fiduciary is like being a little pregnant. Here at DeGreen, we believe that being a fiduciary is not a part-time thing. It's a full-time commitment to always act in your best interest. By fee only, we mean that we charge a small annual management fee based on the size of your portfolio with us in accordance with our published fee schedule. The fee is deducted quarterly as we go. If you leave us for any reason, all unearned fees are promptly refunded. That's all we charge. There are no hidden fees, no commissions, no secret agendas, no conflicts of interest at DeGreen. We work and invest with you, and we earn our money gradually over time. You can find our fee schedule and much more information at our website, degreen.com. So now you know what we mean by the word efficiency. It's the second important key to smart, proactive investing. Reduced portfolio expenses and true value added from your trusted fiduciary advisor.
Let efficiency work for you at DeGreen Capital Management. Call the DeGreen team today to request your personal investor best interest interview. 480-609-9900. That's 480-609-9900. We look forward to helping you and your family achieve your financial goals.
Our clients stay in touch each week by also listening to our radio show on News Talk 550 KFYI in Phoenix.
Arizona's most popular finance show, Smart Proactive Investing, the two most important hours on radio.
Saturdays from 11 to 1.
Or catch our shows online anytime at DeGreen.com.
Portfolio precision is the second of the three keys to smart proactive investing. Now, precision is all about designing a portfolio that is precisely right for you. Precision is vitally important to your long-term investment success. Now, here at DeGreen, we achieve portfolio precision by examining the most important portfolio element of all, you. At DeGreen, the process of creating your precise, personalized investment portfolio begins with your comprehensive investor best interest interview. Now, I typically conduct these interviews personally, and Sam also does an excellent job. Regardless, we all work as a close-knit team here at our family business. Your initial best interest interview is just the beginning of an ongoing relationship where we will make every effort to match your investments with your changing needs over time. Incidentally, we strongly recommend that both spouses attend your best interest interview, even if a spouse is not that active in managing the family's finances, and perhaps especially then. It's your family's future, after all.
As you schedule your initial interview, we will send you our investor best interest form to complete prior to our meeting together. We require all potential clients to complete and return only the first page of this form prior to our meeting. If you wish, you can also take a shot at answering the rest of the questions in advance as well. We will review your responses in advance of this meeting. During your best interest interview, we will thoroughly and confidentially examine your health and family needs, your past investment experience and concerns, your outside streams of income such as Social Security, pensions, rents, royalties, salaries or commissions, your retirement timeline if either spouse is still working, the impact of that timeline on your outside income, your ordinary expenses including taxes, Medicare premiums, unreimbursed healthcare costs, housing, household and living expenses, and routine travel expenses, anticipated lump sum expenditures such as home improvements, bucket list trips, or items like gifts to the grandchildren or charity, and so on. The timing and the amount of income you will need from your investment portfolio, anticipated lump sum incomes such as inheritances, the status of your cash reserve to cover unexpected expenses and to provide a reserve during challenging market periods, and the whereabouts and efficacy of any and all outside investments and business interests, and a consideration of the extent to which they supplement or detract from your core DCM investment efforts. As you can see, your best interest interview is a detailed examination into your precise needs and circumstances. It is also the first step at creating your precise investment portfolio. We encourage you to schedule reviews with us on a regular basis, either in person or by phone. And we always remain just a phone call or email away if you have any questions or concerns. Also, our clients stay current by listening to our radio show on News Talk 550 KFYI or by listening to our radio podcast each week on our website at DeGreen.com. And incidentally, we have a wonderful administrative team backing us up. Yes, precision. Precision. Matching your portfolio, your financial plan with your needs is indeed one of the three keys to smart, proactive investing.
Let us precisely match your portfolio and financial plan with your needs at DeGreen Capital Management. Call the DeGreen team today to request your personal investor best interest interview. 480-609-9900. That's 480-609-9900. We look forward to helping you and your family achieve your financial goals.
Now let's take a closer look at the third important key to smart, proactive investing: diversification. Our diversified DCM EMA portfolios are allocated across the four major asset classes worldwide: equities, fixed income, alternatives, and cash. Now, you've seen that our investment committee has maintained low-cost, diversified, risk-adjusted ETF portfolios for many years. In my opinion, based on decades of experience, ETFs are, quite simply, unsurpassed at providing diversification and managing risk. Here's why. Diversification within a carefully risk-adjusted portfolio is tremendously important to you. Imagine you're holding a barbell. The actual bar is your financial plan. At one end of the barbell are investments like stocks that you would commonly associate with growth. At the other end are investments like fixed income or bonds that you would commonly associate with wealth preservation. Now, how should your barbell be weighted? Should it be, say, 60% growth and 40% wealth preservation? 30% growth, 70% wealth preservation? 50-50, 80-20? You get the idea. Now, during your best interest interview, we'll conduct certain exercises to determine your best, most precise allocation between growth and wealth preservation. We will examine not just the past performance of EMA's portfolios, but their historic range of volatility over many years, metrics known as beta and standard deviation. We'll also discuss how your DCM performance might vary from EMA's numbers due to DCM-level portfolio modifications, our defensive protocols, and other factors. Now, from these exercises, and from our extensive discussions of your personal objectives, we'll target one or more of our risk-adjusted portfolios as most appropriate for you and your family. Now, your circumstances may change over time, and that's okay. We can and will modify your allocation to accommodate your changes as we stay in close touch and work together over the years. And for the record, while our stock bond barbell example is helpful, life is never quite that simple. Today, there are many alternative ETFs that may contribute on one side of the barbell or the other. And we also regard cash as a separate asset class for your protection. Okay, now comes the real magic. Precisely designing your diversified investment portfolio using America's most powerful, most cost-efficient investment vehicle, exchange-traded funds or ETFs, to meet your specific investment objectives. At DeGreen, we've pioneered worldwide ETF investing.
Most ETFs are low-cost investment vehicles designed to faithfully track the price performance of an underlying index. An index is just a list, a defined group of stocks, bonds, or alternative investments called its components. An index can be small, like the Dow Jones Industrial Average of 30 stocks, or very large, like the U.S. Aggregate Bond Index with thousands of bonds. Typically, an ETF buys the components of an index, that is, it buys all the securities on the list in the exact proportion as the index, or they buy a representative cross-section. Either way, an ETF should track the aggregate price performance of its index throughout each trading day. When you buy an ETF, you should know you are buying an investment that accurately tracks the exact aggregate price performance of the components within the index. Unfortunately, that is not always the case. There are thousands of indices worldwide, and these days, there are more than 5,000 exchange-traded products in the US alone. Also, at DeGreen, we do not offer our own ETFs. That would be a conflict of interest. The ETFs within our risk-adjusted portfolios are offered by many other well-known providers on a competitive basis. These providers compete for an inclusion in our portfolios with low cost and with precise adherence to the index tracking discipline. And we never receive a commission or kickback for using an ETF. So we are always objectively pursuing the world's most promising markets on your behalf.
So you may be wondering, what's the difference between an ETF and a mutual fund? Well, first and foremost, ETFs consistently outperform mutual funds. As we've mentioned, an ETF faithfully tracks the price performance of an underlying index. A mutual fund tries to beat the price performance of that index. Now, that would be great if it worked, but it doesn't. Study after study confirms that conventional, actively managed mutual funds consistently fail to outperform the very indices against which they choose to compete. The likelihood of a fund in the top quartile of its peers remaining there for 5 consecutive years is less than 1%. So instead of sitting around a Ouija board trying to pick the winners and losers in an index, long-term and impossible task, at DeGreen, we rotate among the world's most promising markets and sectors, that is, among the world's most promising indices.
You know, clients who come to us from portfolios of mutual funds or worse, even more expensive 401k or annuity subaccounts, usually find that their internal costs at DeGreen are less, even after our fee, than they were when they were investing alone in mutual funds, and much less expensive if they were paying someone to put them into those funds. But ETFs offer many other advantages as well. ETFs are also more transparent than mutual funds. Mutual funds are only required to report their holdings every 90 days. With an index tracking ETF, you know exactly what you are buying. This is very important when trying to precisely balance a portfolio. ETFs are also more tax efficient than mutual funds. With an ETF, your tax cost basis is just that, your cost basis, whatever you paid for the ETF. With a mutual fund, you inherit the cost basis of everyone who bought the fund the year before you did. That's why, if you buy a mutual fund during the year, and if the price declines, you might still be hit with a taxable gain that year. That just doesn't happen with ETFs. And our investment committee is very effective at managing tax consequences over time. Finally, ETFs are more liquid than mutual funds. ETFs trade like stocks throughout each trading day. Mutual funds, 401k, and annuity subaccounts may only be liquidated at their end-of-day value no matter how early in the day you try to sell. This can really hurt you if, for example, a market crisis requires that we liquidate all or part of your account immediately.
And permit me to offer a final word on the advantage of ETFs compared to something else: individual stocks and bonds. When you buy an individual stock or bond, even government bonds, you assume something called institutional risk, the possibility that a negative headline or event will impact that particular company or government and send the value of your investment to the basement. It happens all the time. I know, owning individual stocks can be exciting and rewarding. But what are you really trying to accomplish? And is the risk you're taking worth it? And remember, through your diversified index tracking DeGreen ETF portfolio, you'll almost certainly own that favorite stock anyway, but in proportion to the market as a whole, without overweighting that particular position and without the institutional risk that comes from owning even too much of a good thing. In fact, as Herb mentioned, you'll typically own more than 7,000 individual positions in your risk-adjusted DCM portfolio. 7,000. Well, now you know why risk-reducing ETF diversification is definitely, along with efficiency and precision, one of the 3 keys to smart, proactive investing.
DeGreen Capital Management has pioneered low-cost, diversified ETF investing. Let us put the power of diversification to work for you and your family. Call us today to request your personal investor best interest interview. 480-609-9900. That's 480-609-9900. We look forward to helping you and your family achieve your financial goals.
This brings us to the important topic of defense. Here's the truth. No matter how conservative or diversified your portfolio, investing does involve risk. As you can see, We go to great lengths to define your acceptable level of risk and to mitigate risk wherever possible. By far, your best risk control mechanism is proper portfolio selection. That is why we focus so heavily on this, not just at the beginning of our relationship, but over time as your needs change. However, in addition, at DeGreen, we will go the extra mile. Pursuant to our written defensive measures protocols, we may go partially or completely to cash or take other defensive measures when markets get dicey. Defensive measures might also include moving clients from their normal portfolio risk level down 1 or 2 levels during periods of market turbulence. Candidly, it's a delicate process, and we never want to overreact to customary market gyrations. That's why we focus during your best interest interview on the range of volatility you find acceptable in pursuit of your longer-term objectives, and why we stay focused on this throughout our relationship. But we recognize that most of our clients are at or near retirement. They are not young accumulators with 20+ years until retirement. Our clients simply cannot wait 5 to 10 years to see their portfolios recover from a major financial crisis. At this stage of your life, you simply don't need an advisor who says, "Don't worry, it'll come back someday." And here's an encouraging note. Although past performance does not guarantee future results, after the 2008 financial crisis, and even where DCM did not provide additional defensive intervention, EMA's most aggressive portfolios took less than 2 calendar years to return to break even. It took the S&P 500 5.25 years to return to break even. Put another way, after the 2008 crash, EMA's most aggressive portfolios recovered more than twice as rapidly as the S&P, and their less aggressive portfolios recovered even more quickly. That is the power of worldwide diversification with ETFs. So while a bulletproof defensive measures policy has never been invented, ours is thorough, thoughtful, and extremely important to most of our clients. Let's discuss this in more detail at your best interest interview. We will also give you a copy of our full defensive measures policy when we meet.
Let our exclusive defensive measures protocols work for you and your family. Please call us today to request your personal investor best interest interview. 480-609-9900. That's 480-609-9900.
And so, I respectfully repeat the question I asked at the beginning of this program. Imagine it's 10 years from today. Will you be more or less financially secure? And permit me to repeat the 3 most important questions an investor can ask. Am I investing in a manner that is efficient, precise, and diversified, consistent with my objectives and my risk tolerance? Am I fully participating in asset class and market rallies around the world when they occur? And who will defend my portfolio when things get dicey? Well, now you know. At DeGreen Capital Management, we apply the 3 keys to smart, proactive investing: efficiency, precision, and diversification. We invest based on your needs. We use low-cost, U.S.-traded, exchange-traded funds, ETFs, to access all the world's most promising markets. And we will seek to defend your portfolio when things get dicey. Our core mission is to help you define and achieve financial security with as little risk as possible along the way. As your independent fiduciary, fee-only advisor, we have no agenda other than your success. Your best interest always comes first at DeGreen. As you know, I invest my own money in our program, just as our clients do. In other words, we eat our own cooking. We invest as our clients invest in all the world's most promising markets. To be clear, I do not invest for show. Like you, I've worked hard for my money. I invest in our program because, although future performance can never be guaranteed, I know that this program works, that it works well, and that, based on past results, it is, in my professional opinion, likely to continue to work well for many years to come. So, here's a final question. What do you suppose has always been America's greatest export? Raw materials? Manufactured goods? Technology? I think not. Our greatest export has always been freedom. You know, during my failed retirement, I traveled the world. Wherever I went, whether I spoke with captains of industry or cab drivers, they all said the same thing. We want what you have in America. We want freedom. We want opportunity. We want wealth. You know, over the years, many Americans have fought, bled, sacrificed, and died to help protect and export freedom here and around the world. But today, as diversified worldwide investors, we can profitably support and export freedom, free enterprise, here and around the world. And we can do so without firing a single shot, without shedding a single drop of blood. For this old Marine, that means something, as I know it does to you. And it points for all of us as smart, proactive investors to a bright and unlimited future. From all of us at DeGreen Capital Management,
From our family to yours,
thanks for watching, and
let's get started.
It's time to act. Efficiency, precision, diversification. The 3 keys to smart, proactive investing exclusively at DeGreen Capital Management in Scottsdale. Please call us today to request your personal investor best interest interview. 480-609-9900. Put the entire DeGreen team to work for you. That's 480-609-9900. We look forward to helping you and your family achieve your financial goals. Thanks for watching.
please join us Saturdays for the 2 most important hours on radio, Arizona's most popular finance show, Smart Proactive Investing.
That's Saturdays from 11 to 1 on Newstalk 550, KFYI in Phoenix.
Or catch our shows online anytime at DeGreen.com.